I'm Kendra Cook, your host for the DCTV daily news program out of Dove Creek, Colorado. The Dolores County Broadcasting Network is the producer of DCTV with support from the Southwest Colorado TV Translator Association, which is the special district association responsible for bringing the area free-to-access TV stations over the air by antenna. This is a community TV station. If there's a news story or event information you'd like to share, you can call us. The studio number is 970-677-4119. And if you're a business or organization, we welcome you to find out about sponsorship opportunities for banners or video segments run on the channel. This is the Wednesday program for March 4th, 2020. DCTV Daily News. Socialist Bernie Sanders gets primary majority. The Durango Herald reported on the outcome of Super Tuesday for Colorado with a photo by AP. Senator Bernie Sanders, independent from Vermont, rose from South Carolina to win the swing state of Colorado by a considerable margin on Tuesday night, finishing with 36% of the votes. The senator won in both urban and rural districts of the state for the Democratic side. His agenda includes more progressive policies like Medicare for All, which would eliminate private insurance and create a single government option. Plans like Medicare for All and College for All are policies Sanders has pushed since the 2016 presidential election race. Proposals Sanders supports, such as the Green New Deal, a package of legislation that aims to address both climate change and economic inequality, have driven the Democratic Party further left and attracted apparently younger voters. Results were expected to trickle in throughout the evening, but as of 8:30 p.m. on Tuesday, the results showed former mayor of New York City, Michael Bloomberg, in second place with 23% of the vote, and former Vice President Joe Biden in third place with 21% of the vote. Bloomberg opened offices in every congressional district in the state and poured an estimated $500 million into advertising across the country. And then late last night, we found out that Bloomberg has now dropped out of the race as well. After a sweeping win in South Carolina, Joe Biden was largely inactive leading up to the primary election and was the only candidate to not hold a public event in Colorado. Senator Elizabeth Warren, a Democrat from Massachusetts, came in fourth with 17% of Colorado's votes for the Democratic primary. Sanders was projected to win in Colorado by 13 percentage points based on 538 polling before the primary, with Biden coming in second. The Vermont senator drew thousands of supporters last month at a Denver rally that he held. Sanders also won in Colorado's 2016 caucuses and maintained a base of support in the state since then. But as the field consolidated immediately before the Super Tuesday primary election, Colorado's swing state status became even more important for other candidates in their efforts to collect delegates. While Sanders is the winner of the popular vote, the delegate count, once announced, will be important in determining the final Democratic nominee at their convention in July. Colorado will send 67 delegates to the Democratic National Convention, according to the Colorado Democratic Party. The delegates are assigned based on the primary vote in each congressional district. The 3rd Congressional District has 5 delegates going into the convention. That's ours in Southwest Colorado. Votes for candidates who dropped out of the race will not count when it comes to assigning delegates. Colorado has an open primary, which means that the state's many voters that identify as unaffiliated could vote in either the Democratic or the Republican primary. And as of late December, 40% of voters in the state were unaffiliated. There is also a U.S. Senate and House race going on in Colorado. Republican incumbent Senator Cory Gardner, a Republican, is running for re-election, along with U.S. House Republican incumbent Representative Scott Tipton, Republican from Cortez. The primary election for the U.S. House and Senate seats will take place June 30th. And don't forget, if you are a registered Democrat, you can attend the precinct caucus this Saturday for our local elections, and that happens at 2 p.m. at the Commissioners' Meeting Room in the basement of the courthouse. If you're a registered Republican, you can attend the precinct caucus this Saturday at 7 p.m. at the Public Service Center, which is next to Road and Bridge, east of the big senior services center there. There are currently 4 Republican candidates that are running for commissioner seats, 2 in District 2 and 2 in District 3. Both the incumbents are rerunning, and they each have 1 challenger. Unaffiliated candidates will then petition to be on the ballot starting this May for other races or other campaigns in the commissioner seats. And the Durango Herald reported on the oil and gas industry with an AP photo. The oil and gas industry is under increasing pressure from investors to reduce its environmental impact. Climate activists are pushing companies like ExxonMobil to meet the 2016 Paris Agreement and limit global warming to below 2 degrees Celsius. Exxon released its model for regulating methane and called for tighter regulations from lawmakers on Tuesday in response. The Bipartisan Policy Center also brought together members of the oil and gas industry and the U.S. Chamber of Commerce on Tuesday to discuss evolving energy infrastructure in the U.S. The representatives called on the federal government to designate a nationwide agency that would establish cohesive emission standards across state lines. Quote, concerns the public has about emissions need to be addressed, said Alan Armstrong, CEO of Williams Companies. But President Donald Trump's administration has recently proposed rollbacks to the National Environmental Policy Act, a foundational law that requires environmental impact studies before implementing projects that involve federal funds, such as oil and gas land leases. The rollbacks make it easier for companies to acquire a permit to construct pipelines and ports for oil extraction and transportation, without consideration of the environmental impact on the land or impact on nearby communities. Companies like Williams and the U.S. Chamber of Commerce are supportive of these rollbacks, arguing that the decision-making process for emission standards should happen at the federal level. State climate mandates are, quote, at odds with coherent ecological policy, says Jason Grummett, president of the Bipartisan Policy Center. Attempting to follow each state's climate and environmental laws is difficult when constructing nationwide energy infrastructure, such as a natural gas pipeline, Armstrong said. And natural gas plays a big role in reducing reliance on oil, quote, and that might not be what people want to hear, Armstrong said. Because the permitting process under the NEPA is so restrictive, it prohibits natural gas growth, increasing carbon dioxide and methane emissions, Armstrong said. And individual laws in each state compound the problem, panelists argued. Quote, mayors and governors keep having their own ideas, which is very inconvenient, Grummett said. Colorado has its own ambitious climate goals. Governor Jared Polis unveiled a roadmap to get the state to 100% renewable energy by 2040 and signed legislation to decarbonize Colorado's economy by 90% below 2005 levels by 2050. Tri-State Generation and Transmission, which supplies electricity to Durango via La Plata Electric Association, announced last month that it is going to close coal-fired power plants in Colorado and New Mexico by 2030. But to get to zero emissions, Grummett said a, quote, vastly new national infrastructure is required. States don't have the geographic or economic resources to make that happen, and they need, quote, support at the federal policy ecosystem, Grummett said. Scaling back NEPA and designating an agency to create and enforce standards at the national level would be better for energy infrastructure and the environment, Armstrong said. If Colorado reaches zero emissions, but surrounding states don't, oil and gas companies will relocate across state lines. The Journal reports on the status of shed hunting with a CPW photo. Colorado Parks and Wildlife issued a news release on Tuesday reminding residents that the collection and possession of antlers or horns on all public lands west of I-25 is prohibited between January 1st and April 30th each year. The closure is in place since 2018 and is intended to protect wintering animals from unnecessary human disturbance during the late winter months when ungulate bodies conditions are at their worst, the news release said. Collection of antlers and horns on private lands is permitted, though access to private land is required year-long. Under recently approved fines, possession of an antler or horn will cost $137 and 5 license suspension points. Accumulation of 20 or more points may lead to suspensions of hunting and fishing privileges in Colorado and 48 other states. CPW encourages tips at Operation Game Thief. You can call them at 877-265-6648. Tips might earn monetary rewards and tipsters may remain anonymous. And now let's take a look at our local weather forecast. Today, it's been another beautiful sunny day with a high near 53 degrees with southwest winds just 5 to 10 miles an hour. Tonight, clear with a low around 29 degrees. The east winds are light, still remaining around 5 miles an hour. Then warming up a bit for Thursday, sunny with a high near 56. And for Thursday night, mostly clear and a low around 32. For Friday, mostly sunny with a high near 57 degrees. But the south wind will kick back in at 10 to 15 miles an hour on Friday, with gusts as high as 25. So high-profile vehicles, be careful out there driving. Friday night, partly cloudy and a low around 36. And the start of the weekend is nice for Saturday, partly sunny with a high near 57 degrees. And Saturday night, mostly cloudy and a low around 38. But then Sunday, a chance of rain and snow comes in the morning before 11 a.m. and then it might switch over to rain for Sunday. Mostly cloudy and a high near 50 degrees. Sunday night's low will be around 31 degrees. We do need the moisture. Monday, partly sunny with a high near 50 degrees, and Monday night mostly cloudy and a low around 32. And now, back to our news. A report from the Durango Herald on someone fighting the EMF electromagnetic field impact on human life, with photos by Jerry McBride. Nancy Vandover says she's a prisoner in her own home. Since January, it has become too physically painful to be around electromagnetic fields like those emitted by high-voltage power lines, cell phone and cell towers, she said. Quote, "Now I cannot step outside my door. I can't even go out of my house," Vandover said. "I'm in prison and I'm getting sicker." Vandover and others in Durango are leading an effort to move the city to safer technology, but they face big industry, slow government, and an unaware, at times disbelieving, public. There have been an unprecedented increase in the number and diversity of electromagnetic field sources, according to the World Health Organization. People around the world say they experience electromagnetic sensitivity, EMS, often attributing physical symptoms to their proximity to technology. State, federal, and international agencies have recognized EMS symptoms, but like the scientific research, are slow to definitively connect them to the technology. For Vandover, a Durango resident of 33 years, her condition is terrifying. Durango's response, however, is mixed. Quote, "Had anyone told me that I would be susceptible to this wireless radiation, then I would have been more careful," she said. People have experienced EMS, at times called EHS, for electromagnetic hypersensitivity, for more than a decade, and that's around the world. They say new technologies like 5G mobile networks emit electromagnetic field radiation that harm electric connections within the body. EMS is not a medical diagnosis. People who experience EMS list common symptoms like fatigue, rashes, migraines, insomnia, and more. Ingrid Iverson, another Durango resident with EMS, said she experienced short-term memory loss. Another Durango resident felt painful prickling sensations on the skin. Governments, businesses, and other organizations do not have clear guidance on how to address EMS. In 2005, the U.S. Access Board, a compliance board for the Americans with Disabilities Act, said EMS could be considered a disability under the ADA. However, the board did not recommend accessibility guidelines for buildings and facilities. A 2006 World Health Organization report said national governments should take the condition seriously, since 2 to 3% of the population experience sensitivity symptoms. But research did not prove that electromagnetic fields cause the symptoms. In some cases, symptoms could be caused by psychiatric conditions, the WHO reported. A California Department of Health Services survey found 3% of people interviewed reported they are unusually sensitive to electric appliances or power lines, that according to a 2005 National Institute of Building Sciences report. Here in Colorado, former Governor Bill Ritter declared May 2009 as Electromagnetic Sensitivity Awareness Month. "Usually, my guidelines are pretty clear," said Scholes, who also works in emergency medical services with a fire department in Durango. "This has been a very unique thing where it's really not clear what we need to do." Vandover and others have also reached out to the Durango City Council to push for fewer cell towers and raise awareness about EMS. Vandover said city staff didn't know what EMS was and did not respond to information and accommodation requests. She's on the second round of complaints about the cell tower near her home. Safe technology advocates argue the last FCC requirements were established in 1996, and billion-dollar telecom companies might have financial influence over the commission. In the Colorado legislature, several groups aim to repeal or replace House Bill 17-1193, which allowed small cell facilities in public right-of-ways. Quote, "I want everybody to know what this disability is so that people with this are not going to be injured like I was," Ms. Vandover said. And a story with a funny ending from the Durango Herald about some cows and their catchers. Photo courtesy San Juan Fire District in New Mexico. Escaped cows led a multi-agency team on a chase Monday afternoon after a crash involving a stock trailer on U.S. Highway 64 near Hogback happened west of Farmington. According to the San Juan County Sheriff's Office, 2 community bystanders helped people involved in the crash and then directed traffic until first responders arrived. After those involved in the crash were taken to the hospital for their injuries, the chase for the missing cows was underway. The roundup was a multi-agency effort involving community members, San Juan County Fire Department, San Juan County Sheriff's Office, New Mexico State Police, New Mexico Department of Transportation, Navajo Police Department, Navajo Nation Fire Department, and San Juan Regional Medical Center EMS. The New Mexico State Police took over the crash investigation, according to the San Juan County Fire Department. The San Juan County Fire Department had fun on its Facebook page, describing the roundup with a series of puns. "We didn't milk the cow puns too much, but it behooves us to corral our enthusiasm. The stakes are pretty high here, so we won't horn in on your afternoon anymore. Move over, stand-up comedians. Happy to hear everyone's safe." And today's High Canyon Country happenings. March 5th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. there's a pruning workshop held at the Yellow Jacket Southwest Colorado Research Center that's hosted by both Montezuma and Dolores County Extension offices. The cost is just $15 and you must bring your own chair, water, snacks, lunch, and dress in warm clothing, they say. And if you want hand-on pruning, then bring your own loppers or hand pruners. For more information, you can call them at 970-677-2283 or 565-3123 in Montezuma County. And March 5th, 6:30 p.m., listen to the Montezuma County Commissioners' candidates speak about who they are, why they are running, and where they stand on different issues. For District 2 in Montezuma County, there are 3 candidates, Danny Wilkins, Alan Randolph, and Kent Lindsay. And for District 3, there are also 3, Joel Stevenson, Monty Gillis, Tim Hunter. You will also be able to watch it live through Facebook page via Mesa Media Productions, their live feed, and then later on in the week on YouTube. March 5th, also don't forget, there's an Alphabet Soup support group with the Pinion Project in Cortez. That actually happens the first and third Thursdays of each month, and they run from 6 to 7:30 p.m. The support group for parents, caretakers, or guardians of children with special needs or behavioral health challenges. Child care can be provided. Please contact Maggie Tivalt in advance to make arrangements. Her number is 970-564-1195, or you can email her at mtevault@pinionproject.org. What a special group that is to help so many in Montezuma and Dolores counties. And I post up all of these High Canyon Country happenings on our Facebook page, which is still DCTV News at Noon, where you can also watch the program replay along with the news links and stories of local interests. And you too can share other events or news there and join in on the conversation. Again, it's your local community TV station, so if you have something you'd like to share, you can contact us by email dcbnnews@gmail.com or call the station 970-677-4119. Thank you for tuning in to the DCTV Daily News program. These programs are broadcast Monday through Friday with replays online on our YouTube channel or our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page. If you like the program, please do like and follow us on Facebook and share it with your family and friends. The first program of the day is released at 6 p.m. and then replayed at 8 p.m. on the TV channel. It's 32.1 here in Dove Creek. And then it is also replayed the following morning at 9 a.m. and 12 noon. This has been a production of DCTV for the DCTV Daily News program out of Dove Creek, Colorado, USA. I'm Kendra Cook. Again, thank you for watching.